भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। टुडे वी continuing Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization. Shloka number 16 and 17. गृहात् प्रव्रजित धीरः
गृहात् प्रव्रजितः धीरः
पुण्यतीर्थ जल आप्लुतः
पुण्यतीर्थजल आप्लुतः
शिष्टौ विविक्त आसीनः
शुचौ विविक्तासिनः
विधिवत् कल्पित आसने
विधिवत् कल्पित आसने
अभ्यसेत् मनसा शुद्धम्
अभ्यसेत मनसा शुद्धम्
त्रिवृद्ध ब्रह्म अक्षरं परम्
त्रिवृद्ध ब्रह्म अक्षरं परम्
मनः यच्छेत यच्छेत जित श्वास
मन यच्छेत जीत श्वास
ब्रह्म बीजम अविस्मरण
ब्रह्म बीजम् अविस्मरन्
गृहात् प्रव्रजित धीरः
गृहात् प्रव्रजितः धीरः
पुण्यतीर्थ जल आप्लुतः
पुण्यतीर्थजल आप्लुतः
शुचौ विविक्त आसीनः
शुचौ विविक्तः आसीनः
विधिवत् कल्पित आसने
विधिवत् कल्पित आसने
अभ्यसेत मनसा शुद्धम्
अभ्यसेत मनसा शुद्धम्
तीव्र ब्रह्म अक्षरम्
श्रीवृद् ब्रह्माक्षरं परम्
परम मन यच्छित जित श्वास
मन यच्छीत जीत श्वासः
ब्रह्म बीजम अविस्मरण
ब्रह्म बीजम् अविस्मरन्
गृहात् प्रव्रजित धीरः पुण्यतीर्थ जल आप्लुतः शुचौ विविक्ते आसीनः विधिवत् कल्पित आसने अभ्यसेत् मनसा शुद्धं त्रिवृत् ब्रह्म अक्षरं परम् मन यच्छेत जित श्वासः ब्रह्म बीजम अविस्मरण। हरे कृष्ण।
गृहात् प्रव्रजितः धीरः पुण्यतीर्थजल आप्लुतः शुचो विविक्तासिनः विधिवत् कल्पितासने अभ्यसेत मनसा शुद्धं त्रिवृद्धब्रह्माक्षरं परं मनो यच्छेत जितश्वासः ब्रह्मबीजमविस्मरन्
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. One should live home and practice self-control in a sacred place. He should bath regularly and sit down in a lonely place duly sanctified. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters AUM, and by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. To prepare oneself for the better next life, one must get out of one's so-called home. The system of varṇāśrama dharma or Sanatan dharma prescribes retirement from family encumbrances as early as possible after one has passed 50 years of age. Modern civilization is based on family comforts, the highest standard of amenities, and therefore, after retirement, everyone expects to live a very comfortable life in a well furnished home decorated with the fine ladies and children without any desire to get out of such a comfortable home. High government officers and ministers stick to their prizes posts until death, and they neither dream nor desire to get out of homely comforts. Bound by such hallucinations, materialistic men prepare various plans for a still more comfortable life. But suddenly, cruel death comes without mercy and takes away the great plan maker against his desire. forcing him to give up the present body for another body. Such a plan maker is thus forced to accept another body in one of the 84 lakh species of life according to the fruits of the work he has performed. In the next life, persons who are too much attached to family comforts are generally awarded lower species of life on account of sinful acts performed during a long duration of sinful life, and thus all the energies of the human life is spoiled. In order to be saved from the danger of spoiling the human form of life and being attached to unreal thing, one must take a warning of death at the age of 50, if not earlier. The principle is that one should take it for granted that the death warning is already there, even prior to the attainment of 50 years of age, and thus at any stage of life one should prepare himself for a better next life. The system of the Sanatan Dharma institution is so made that the follower is trained for the better next life without any chance that the human life will be spoiled. The holy places all over the world are meant for the residential purposes of retired person getting ready for a better next life. Intelligent person must go there at the end of life, and for that matter after 50 years of age, to live a life spiritual regeneration for the sake of being freed from family attachment, which is considered to be the shackle of material life. One is recommended to quit home just to get rid of material attachment, because one who sticks to family life until death cannot get rid of material attachment, and as long as one is materially attached, one cannot understand spiritual freedom. One should not, however, become self complacent simply by leaving home or by creating another home at the holy place, either lawfully or unlawfully. Many persons leave home and go to such holy places, but due to bad association, again become family men by illicit uh, connection with the opposite sex. The illusory energy of matter is so strong that one is apt to be under such illusion at every stage of life, even after quitting one's happy home. Therefore, it is essential that one practice self-control by celibacy without the least desire for sex indulgence. For a man desiring to improve the condition of his existence, such indulgence is considered suicidal or even worse. Therefore, to live apart from family life means to become self-controlled in regard to all sense desires, especially sex desires. The method is that one should have a duly sanctified sitting place made of straw, deerskin, and carpet. And this sitting on it, one should chant the holy name of the Lord without offense, as prescribed above. The whole process is to drag the mind from material engagements and fix it on the lotus feet of the Lord. This simple process alone will help one advance to the highest stage of spiritual success. Onkar or the Pranav is the seed of transcendental realization, and it is composed of three transcendental letters AUM. By its chanting by the mind in conjunction with the breathing process, which is transcendental but mechanical way of getting into trance, as devised by the experience of great mystic, one is able to bring the mind, which is materially absorbed, under control. This is the way of changing the habit of mind. The mind is not to be killed. Mind or desire cannot be stopped, but to develop a desire to function for spiritual realization, the quality of engagement by the mind has to be changed. The mind is the pivot of the active sense organs, and as such, if the quality of thinking, feeling, and willing is changed, naturally the quality of action by the instrumental senses will also change. Onkara is the seed of all transcendental sound, and it is only the transcendental sound which can bring about the desired change of the mind and the senses. Even a mentally deranged man can be cured by treatment of transcendental sound. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Pranav Onkara has been accepted as the direct literal representation of the supreme absolute truth. One who is not able to chant directly the holy name of the Lord as recommended above can easily chant the Pranav Onkara. This Onkara is a note of address such as, "Oh my Lord," just an Om Hari, Om means, oh my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we have explained before, the Lord's holy name is identical with the Lord Himself. So also is Onkara. Because persons who are unable to realize the transcendental personal form or name of the Lord on account of their imperfect senses, in other words, the neophytes are trained to the practice of self realization by this mechanical process of regulating the breathing function and simultaneously repeating the pranav onkara within the mind, as we have several times expressed, since the transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, etc. of the personality of Godhead are impossible to understand with the present material senses. It is necessary that through the mind, the center of sensual activity, such a transcendental realization be set into motion. The devotees directly fix their minds on the person of the absolute truth. But one who is unable to accommodate such personal features of the absolute is discipline, is impersonality to train the mind to make further progress. Om Jnana Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. श्री चैतन्य नमोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगणललिता श्री विशाखान्विताञ्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात् देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभे च कृपा सिन्धुभे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा प्रणाम. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto second chapter first, the first step in God realization. We try to understand shlokas 16 and 17. In the shloka number 16, they describe about how we do self control. We do why should we uh, practice or self control? And in second shloka 17, they describe about the transcendental uh, realizations bid seed is the Onkara. How we practice for uh, to obtain or to pursue spiritual translation by uh, chanting the Onkara, the Praṇava. Prabhuji will tell us in detail nicely. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe. Patitanam pavane
Krishna.
bhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna.
Shukdev Goswami ji is now guiding Parikshit Maharaj on what he should be doing in the remaining 7 days. So he first of all tells him that what is important is Shrotavyam. Then he tells what should be the Shrotavyam. He tells Shrotavyam should be of Bhagavatam. And then he tells the importance of Harinam. Then how the offenses to the Harinam have to be avoided. And now he's telling him how it has to be executed. So he tells him how it is to be executed, that actually he should leave the place where he's staying. He should leave home. Important is to have self-control. And for that, he should go to a sacred place. There he should be bathing regularly and sit down lonely. so that he is able to concentrate fully his mind on the transcendental state. And what is the transcendental is? Krishna. Bijaham sarva Krishna says this sarva bija prapattita. I am forgetting that shloka. So Krishna says that I am the seed giving father for everyone. And then this is what is important, that we have to concentrate on Krishna continuously. And this is what is important. And to do that, here he's saying that you can start with the concentration on the Oṁkāra. Om, the syllable Om is something which can be thought about and conducted. So when this discussion is happening, what becomes important to understand as per Prabhupada's purport is two different aspects. Now, one is preparation for the next life, and second is the importance of Oṁkāra. So it is but obvious that as per the varṇāśrama system, we should have renunciation, vānaprastha after 50 years, so that we are not wasting the human life in attachment to illusion. Because attachment to family life, material comforts, this is the main impediment to spiritual progress. And that is why it is said, warning of death at 50, if not earlier. Now, when this was being discussed, the average lifespan used to be 100 years. So, what it means is that at the most, you should spend 50% of your life in materialism, and rest 50% should be for spiritualism. But then when it comes to Prahlad Maharaj, he gives us exactly different aspects. He says that your spiritualism should start right from the age of a Kaumarya, right when you are 7, 8 years old. But here it becomes difficult because we are in Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel. So at least you should take the shelter of the holy name of the Lord. Though it is mentioned that we should be going to a holy place. Now, holy place has it's made for spiritual regeneration. It's not that in a holy place we create another comfortable home. Nowadays, we find so many people buying plots and residences and flats and villas in Vrindavan and Mathura and so many holy places. No, holy place is not for making another comfortable home. The real benefit comes when holy place is used to detach from family life and engage in Krishna consciousness. Basically, here we have two aspects: renunciation and consciousness. So, just external renunciation is not enough. True detachment means controlling the sense desires and fixing the mind on Krishna's lotus feet. And there are so many examples of perfectly situated devotees. Prahlad Maharaj was Grihastha, he was elderly also, but he remained detached and absorbed in devotion. Was Prashanta, peaceful and undisturbed because of his pure bhakti. So it makes us understand that even in household life, if one is Krishna conscious, he is spiritually advanced. So varṇāśrama dharma is actually giving us stages. We should be into brahmacharya up to the age of 25 years, where we need the education. 25 to 50 years, grihasthashram, family life, and 50 and till the end renunciation, vānaprastha and then sannyasa. Because after duties are done, one must detach and engage in devotional service full time. And the best way to get engaged into all this is bhakti yoga. Because bhakti destroys gross and subtle body. It is like a digestive pill that dissolves both the gases and subtle coverings. So as soon as you take to bhakti, immediately gross and subtle body is digested and live in the spiritual body. And that helps us in transcending the modes of nature. Mam cha yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Krishna says this in 14.26 of Bhagavad Gita. So one who practices pure bhakti transcends the sattva, raja, tama, bhun and becomes brahma bhuta prasannatma. So Jnana, Vairagya, both are achieved through bhakti. which produces genuine knowledge and detachment automatically. Janayati anuvairakyam jnanam chayat ahetukam. We saw this in the second chapter of first canto. And that helps us actually to enter the spiritual world. Fearlessness, akuta bhayam. Because suffering continues as long as we identify with the material body, even if one has the body of a king or an ant. And akuta bhayam, complete fearlessness, possible only when one is in a spiritual body and enters spiritual world through bhakti. And unless we enter the spiritual world in a spiritual body, there is no question of akuta bhayam. Material knowledge is not going to lead us there. It's spiritual knowledge. Material knowledge pollutes the mind and body. Krishna consciousness purifies it. For example, a vacuum cleaner salesman will create a mess and then he'll sell the solution. Similarly, modern society is creating problems and offering temporary relief, not true solutions. Well, bhakti is very, very practical. Seva, prasadam, and outreach. And we have so many examples. Hippies were converted to happies because of the outreach seva experience. Prasadam was being given to the drug addicted homeless people, and they show signs of change, beginning to ask spiritual questions. If you chant this mantra, it will help you develop peace, discipline, and then they start developing taste towards the mantra. Basically, if we see so many references which are used regarding this shloka, like second canto 16th shloka made us understand that we have to leave home, practice control, self-control in holy places. 8th chapter 19th shloka gives the example of Prahlad Maharaj's detachment while remaining in family. Bhagavad Gita 14:26 makes us understand the how bhakti transcends material nodes. 1854 makes us understand how Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma joy of spiritual platform. And first canto, where we understood devotional service is unmotivated, uninterrupted, leading to true knowledge and detachment. In the very first sloka of the Bhagavatam 111, that Absolute is aware of all that happens in creation. So Krishna consciousness is not theoretical, it is practical, transformative, and accessible. We must live life preparing for that, understanding the urgency to become spiritually focused. So let us not look for a break, let us look for peace and Shanti. And that is where understanding Oṁkāra in Krishna consciousness comes into picture. Oh, so Oṁkāra is not Om, it is the three letters. This is the seed of transcendental realization. It is the origin of all transcendental sound. It's the spiritual beach that purifies mind and senses. So the A stands for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. U stands for Srimati Radharani, the eternal concert. And stands for the living entity, the eternal servant of the Lord. Om Tat Sat. So this triad helps spiritualize every action and connect the soul to the Supreme. The mind has a lot of functions in spiritual life. It is central to all sensory actions, thinking, feeling, willing. We cannot stop desire, but we must purify it. We must direct it towards spiritual realization. And changing the quality of the mind naturally transforms the quality of actions. And Onkara is the sound that brings this change. So we should not be looking at mechanical meditation. You have to look at devotional meditation. Neophytes who are unable to realize Krishna personal form can begin with this regulated breathing, repetition of Om. So it's a stepping stone, it's not goal. Devotees go beyond this. They fix directly their mind on Krishna's personal form and then. But in Bhagavad Gita 9.17, Krishna has clearly said, Om is not different from Krishna. Among vibrations, I am the syllable Om, Krishna says. So in personal ties, who are prioritizing Onkara over Krishna, It's a misconception. Oṁkāra is personal, representing Krishna and his eternal concert and service. So those who refuse to chant Krishna's name instead of clinging to Om alone, they're actually mistaking. And there's a lot of scriptural support for this understanding. In Rigveda 1.22.20, it is mentioned Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surya. Demigods always meditate on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet as the supreme destination. In Bhagavad Gita 17.24 to 27, we see the explanation of Om Tat Sat. Om representing surrender to Krishna's lotus feet, Tat representing desirelessness or desiring only Krishna's satisfaction, not personal gain, and Sat referring to living entity as the eternal servant of Krishna. So the real meaning of desirelessness is that not the absence of desire, but desiring only Krishna's satisfaction, as told by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 2.71. So giving up sense gratification, false ego, and proprietorship actually brings peace of mind. And purpose of all kinds of yajna, charity, penance, they all begin with Om Tat Sat, to be perfect and spiritual. Because without material desire, if anything is done, it becomes a means of purifications and leads one back to Godhead. And for that, association and devotional service is important. Transcendental knowledge arises from satsanga, satam prasangat, prasanatma. So devotional service is the association of sadhus is essential to realize the personal meaning. And that is where we need to make the contrast or a difference between a devotee and an impersonalist. Devotees view Om Tat Sat as deeply personal, leading to bhakti and service to Krishna, while an impersonalist view Om as a symbol of merging into Brahman, which is incomplete, impersonal. So austerity in bhakti is important. Devotees perform tapasya not by breath control, but by chanting Hare Krishna, engaging whole being in the Lord's service. So through tapasya means voluntarily accepting austerity, but for Krishna's satisfaction, to purify thinking, feeling, and will. So Oṁkāra is not different from Krishna. Real desirelessness is the desire to satisfy Krishna. Without good association, transcendental knowledge is not possible. Om Tat Sat is personal when explained by devotees, and all activities become perfect when performed for Krishna's pleasure. So, the sacred formula, when we understand through the lens of bhakti, aligns the soul with the supreme personality of God, Shri Krishna. The practice of chanting, devotional service, surrender brings one to the ultimate goal of eternal loving service to the Lord, so that we become Krishna Das and don't remain Maya Das. And that is something which will enable us to overcome this chasm of material birth, old age, disease, and death, and cross over to the spiritual world. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.